Hi, I'm Stephen Meyer from Mary Meyer Stuffed Toys. I wanted to show you how we develop products for particular customers, and in this case, something very specific. We have a character that was developed by a publisher, and they sent us the initial drawings of the character that's going to be in a book, and they asked us to design a stuffed toy that would be sold with the book. And it's a little, well, I would say it's a little robot, and it's very, very simple. These are preliminary sketches, but we didn't have a lot of detail to go on, but immediately some challenges came to mind, and that is, if you look at his antenna, this would be considered a small part, and it would violate safety standards, so we'd have to do something about that, particularly this volume at the top. I don't know what that is. The 5 fingers on his hands, are they sewn individually? Are they sewn and turned and stuffed? How is that really done? And then the limbs are some kind of textured, coiled. He's a robot, so I'm imagining they're sort of coiled, but that's something we have to figure out. And the reason something like the hands is a challenge is that when you're making a couple thousand of these, you need to make it very efficient for the people sewing and turning and stuffing these. If you made just one, you could do it, but to make several thousand, you've got to make it as efficient as possible. And of course, they have to pass all safety testing. So that's a concern too. He's probably shiny. This would not be printed on details. They would most likely be embroidered, because printing onto a shiny surface is probably going to be subject to peeling. It may not adhere very well. Then of course it won't pass safety. So all the features would be embroidered on in order for it to pass safety tests. So my first challenge is, how do you come up with solving the arm problem? And I will show you a couple of ideas I had, because we have loads of fabric in the design department. And if you take this medium wale fabric and you coil it like this, let's pretend you've sewn and turned it, it does begin to come up with a look that mimics those limbs on the robot. So this is a medium wale corduroy, and then a wider wale corduroy is right here, and you can see that it's wider than this example. So we could take that and coil that also, and that comes up with the same look, and it would just be a more bold arm rather than the more refined, thinner arm as you see here. In addition, what do you do about a shiny surface fabric? Well, we have loads of different fabrics we can choose from. We don't use this sort of material a lot because it's not soft and cuddly, but if you're trying to make a robot that satisfies the customer and they want it to be shiny or iridescent, we do have options that are perfectly safe, are easy to sew, and will probably solve their requests. So the next thing I did was do some quick sketches, and I'm just going to show you one of the sketches here. You can see how we went and solved the limb problem by using the wider wale corduroy, and the antenna challenge, we just really changed it to a single cord with a knot on the top. The knot will not come loose. It's sewn into a seam, and it has to pass a 25-pound pull test. So we know all the standards, so that when we create the sample, we know it will pass safety tests, and then it's safety tested anyway. So there's the initial drawing. I simplified his hands by basically creating a mitten and putting some top stitching to imply fingers. So the next step was to do a couple of spec drawings. Here's a front view. Here's the side view, the embroidered details. I did reference another robot that we did for the same customer at an earlier time. Here's his height, 7 inches. So I don't want to spend a lot of time on that. And the final sample looks like this. All right. So here's his medium whale. Can you see that very well? His medium whale limb. His hands got simplified down to really just sort of a mitten. Rather, it didn't even have the implied fingers on it. And the antenna became 2 cords without knots on the end. And I'm not sure why, but the head was changed from a round oval shape to kind of a chubby cylinder. And I think that that was just something that they changed late in the process. These drawings were preliminary, and in the end, I think that maybe they changed him to look a little bit more like our solution. I'm not sure. And of course, the embroidered details are here. The belt is just top stitched with some embroidery, but I thought he turned out, you know, pretty good. His partner from a year earlier was this guy, so you can kind of see the difference between the whales, the wide whale and the medium whale limbs. The funny story behind this is the sample maker inadvertently sewed the face on upside down. So that was a one-off problem that we solved, but it just goes to show that you can do drawing after drawing, but still we're working with humans, and people make mistakes, and they sewed the head upside down just for this one sample. It was easily solved, but I thought that was pretty funny. He has clamp hands, and you know, the backside is pretty much the same. So though his belt went all the way around on this one. Okay, so I just thought that was interesting. Hope you got something out of this. Bye.